Welcome to Big Hoss's Tailgate.
And we're live. What's up? I'm with Jason Issac.
Hell yeah.
I almost said Jason Isaacs, and that's a completely different dude.
Oh yeah.
That's the actor. I think was he the bad guy in The Patriot?
I think so, maybe, probably. I just know I have a lot of people tell me, or they'll look up like me, and then it's like him, just this English guy. No, he was in Harry Potter, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think he was not the main bad guy, but he was like a bad teacher or something.
Some shit like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like a teacher. Always plays a bad guy in everything he's in.
Yeah.
I think he was like in one. No, that's a different dude. I was gonna say I think he was in one of the X-Men movies, but he's not.
I don't think so.
Nah. So what's up? You were in Pittsburgh. I met you down at Mario's, down at the open mic, and I was like, "So who's this guy?"
Who's this scary?
Because it's like it's been like when you take like 2 weeks off of doing comedy for the holidays and stuff, and come back and there's new people. You're like, "Did I miss something?"
How long was I gone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I had some shows out in Pittsburgh for Atomic Comedy, and then first we stopped in Cleveland on Monday. We did the 2 shows in out here in PA. Then I got picked for a Don't Tell.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna do that later.
Sweet.
Where's
it at? Where's it at? Since you can tell it, since this will come out after it's done. So
it will. Yeah. This will be at I think Senseless Vintage.
Okay. Where's it? Is it a what part of town?
Bloomfield.
Oh, okay. I've been over. Bloomfield's got some cool stuff over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louis has shows. Have you met Louis Patron?
Louis Patron. Nah.
He has like real long hair, but he's also like he does music part time and does comedy, and he runs shows over like Studio 4 over that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So next time you're in town, I'll send your episode over to him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hell yeah. Yeah. I met a lot of really cool people out here. I don't know if it's just because I'm out of town. From out of town, you know.
Nah, some mics are like, I don't want to say friendlier than others, but like, no, there's just some environments where it's like, people are more like, hey, how's it going? Versus like, hang on, I'm working on something.
Yeah. No, like here, like I made a lot more connections, and like people were more like, very open armed, like, it was a lot more inviting here and like in Ohio than in like Chicago. Not to say Chicago's not. But just, I feel like Chicago's a little more cliquey.
Yeah.
But when you're funny, you're funny.
Exactly. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Because it's like, as long as you're getting laughs, I think everybody's cool with it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think that's where, when I noticed that, like, when I first showed up to do stand-up, when I started making people laugh, that's when I noticed everybody was like, okay, now we like them. You know? I don't know. It's like this weird, like, you have to prove you're like, you know?
Well, yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, because you'll have people sign up. Like, I've seen people sign up and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go do comedy. And then they just go up and just say a bunch of, like, hateful shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, what did you think was funny about that? Like, you didn't try or nothing. Like, so it's like, that's why everybody's always like, who is this? And then when they go up, I'm like, oh, this guy's actually trying. Okay, we'll talk to this. We'll give him time, effort.
Yeah. How long you been doing this?
I've been doing it since May. Oh, wait, podcast or comedy?
Both.
Comedy, May 2023. Podcast, December 2023. But I didn't start like doing the podcast like real heavy until like I want to say May of 2024 or something.
All right.
Yeah. I was doing a lot of audio and then I switched to video last year.
Last year? Okay. I've only done like one podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
It was Drew Graff up in Chicago.
Okay.
Real nice guy if you ever come through there. Yeah, he does like him, and then there's another guy out there called Rouge Radio. He's like a rapper, but also he does a podcast, and he does just a bunch of comedians from the city.
Yeah, there's guys I've heard of, like there's one podcast I heard out of Chicago, and I'm very much like nervous to like want to talk to / meet those guys just because I'm like, if I become a target, those guys are going to annihilate me. Like,
which ones?
The Bad Comedy Podcast.
Who runs that one?
I don't know the guys that run it. I know a friend of mine told me about them, but like they'll pull out a gun on the podcast and stuff and just like rack it and stuff. I'm like, those guys are way edgier than me. Like, holy crap. They do say some wild stuff though. It's kind of funny.
I feel like that's kind of like there's certain, because I think also because Chicago is very like, it can be very nitpicky on like certain things you could say and certain things you can't. That like when they're like caged animals, and then when they like made an environment for themselves where they can, that only attracts those kind of people. But I feel like with those kind of people, you end up getting like these weird, just really weird people.
Yeah.
Like you'll be joking around and being like, you'll say something like, "Yeah, it's crazy," you know. You pick up a penny like, "Oh, he's a Jew," you know.
Yeah.
And then be like, "But actually," and
I was like, "Whoa, I didn't mean.
I didn't mean it. It was just ha."
I've met that with certain people. Like you'll make a joke, and then they're like, "So seriously," I'm like, "Whoa.
That was
not an invite for that.
Yeah,
it's not what I didn't know we were going to go down that rabbit hole here."
Yeah, I thought we were just being all.
Yeah, when they start making arguments that, hey, you know, Hitler might have had a good idea. I'm like, "Whoa, buddy,
dude,
chill."
It wasn't really $6 million, dude.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, relax. I'm not that fun.
Yeah.
I got nervous whenever I seen like, I got Googled by a certain country,
Okay.
like at a certain date, like over 100 times, and I was like, that's a weird spot, but all right, that's cool. At least I have fans. That's cool.
Well, what country was it?
Well, I'll tell you a spot.
Okay.
One of those ones that might be listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. I don't know. It's always fun. I'm like, if they would just laugh,
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody would just be like, okay, maybe we're wrong.
Maybe we're wrong, yeah.
But whenever people get mad and they try to shut people down and saying stuff, it's like, are you?
Are you joking around?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like in doing comedy in Chicago, because a good chunk of the scene is very like left leaning, and a lot of, I think, my humor can be kind of more right-ish.
Yeah.
I've learned how to walk the line really well. So then when I'm in either room, it always works. But the thing is, you have to practice walking that line, and sometimes you fall off that line.
Oh, yeah.
And then everybody looks at you. And I think it's funny because, like, for me at least, I think they look at me and they can't really, for certain, say if I can say half the things I say.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people like that. Like, there's some people say stuff and they're like, wait a minute. We didn't give him a pass. And it's like, yeah, but he didn't get it from you. He got it from somebody else. Maybe your requirements are different.
Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Like, it's also like, I think, yeah. Like, I'll say something and they'll be like, they don't say I can't, but they just are more like, I don't know if he could. You know what I mean?
It feels like there's like a small minority of people that get upset, but then they yell very loudly. So then everybody else is like, I don't have time to look into this, so I'm assuming that they're right.
Yeah.
So apparently this guy is very offensive, and it's like,
I think also I do a really good job with like making it very apparent that it's a joke.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like or like I noticed, I got this from like watching like Shane Gillis, because like he'll pull out a fact from history, and then he'll like work with that, and no matter what it was, you know, he'll still know how to play it off. Like saw this like this thing about it. I have a bit about him. It was a guy in World War II by the name of Israel Epstein, and he he was a Pole. I went on this whole rabbit hole about him. So he was from Poland, right?
mm-hmm.
His dad was like a steel worker for the Soviets. They like they also like chased his mom out, and then eventually they moved his dad to China when he was like 3. So then he got raised in China, and then he became a member of the Chinese Communist Party. So he was a Polish Jew, but he was also a Chinese communist. And I just think it's funny that this guy was like speaking Yiddish with a Chinese accent, you know, like he's over there like, are you gonna come over for Hanukkah? You know what I mean? Like,
which is weird. I've heard some accents sometimes where it's like I can't even replicate that because it's like someone from the South that lives in New York and they have a weird like New York accent with a Southern twang, and you're like, I can't handle this.
You
like,
guys got like some Southern here, I've noticed, but you also got like a little East Coast. It's like a Southern East Coast, if that makes sense.
it feels like it depends on where you go, because if you're closer to like if you grew up closer to West Virginia, you're going to hear some Southern accents. Like there's one county that is right on the border of West Virginia, and it's pretty like it almost sounds like you're in like Louisiana, like they're talking Cajun almost.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's other parts like when you're in the city, like I don't know, it's like you don't hear the Yinzer part. Like, did you ever hear the Yinzer accent?
Nah. I keep on seeing Yins, and I was like, what the fuck
So,
is
like,
Yins?
You can go like if you go on like YouTube or something, you'll see like what's his name? Joe Manganiello, and he'll be on there, and he's from Pittsburgh, so he'll do the Pittsburgh accent on TV, and people think it's exaggerated until you meet that person. And they're like, did you want to go downtown and go see the Steelers and go get some Iron City and some shit and go to Permanis? Like, that's how they talk.
That's
it's
how
like,
they talk. So,
I call it a retarded Boston accent.
retarded. Okay. It actually sums it up really well.
Yeah.
So, I always tell people, I feel like the Chicago accent. I've been told I have a bit of a Chicago accent.
Yeah.
But, like, what had someone explain it to me? They said you have a Chicago accent, but you could also tell you're Latino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Yeah, that's so the way I like to tell people is like the Chicago accent's kind of like if the New York accent and the Midwestern accent had a baby.
Kinda.
Cause like New York is very like this, you know. I don't know, you know. We're gonna go get a coffee, maybe a hot dog, something like that. And then the Midwesterners, they're very, you know.
Oh yeah, they got that talk like this. Oh no, don't you know?
Don't
like,
you know they're
sounds like Bobby's mom. Or no, was that? What was the cartoon? Louie. Ever watch Louie Anderson's cartoon, Life with Louie?
I think so. Yeah.
When he listens to his mom, he'd be like, "Oh, Louie, how's it going there, Bobby?"
Yeah. You're such a sweetheart. But you mix the two together, and you get the Chicago accent. The Chicago accent. There's north side. They say north. It's not north. It's north.
Yeah.
They got south, and it's south. It's not. They don't. THs. They don't intertwine that well.
Is it Chicago or New York? The one he goes, he was the best guy around.
That was New York.
Okay.
Yeah, it was New York.
Because it's like it feels like that's when you really see the similarities when they do that kind of shit, and you're like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, like the Chicago accent, you still have like an attitude because it is a big city. You know what I'm saying?
Like Dan Aykroyd is one of those guys where he could walk between Chicago and New York.
Any
it feels
Canadian?
like, yeah. Because he's like right on the border too, and it's like okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I think so. Like Sebastian Maniscalco, he has a Chicago accent, but I always thought once I thought it was hilarious that he's not like from Chicago. He's from Arlington Heights, which is like an hour north of Chicago. But there's that when you get to that all the whole area around there, it is interesting to hear it. And there's a even bigger difference when you meet the people that grew up in the city. Like there's a guy at the barbershop I work at. He comes in, Tony. I'm blanking on his last name, but he's from Bridgeport. Bridgeport is right there by the Issac Stadium. And anything he says, it kind of sounds kind of racist, but it's not. All right? Yeah. And it could just be a characterizing thing about the guy. So you could say he's telling a story about he went to go get coffee, and you know there's this Puerto Rican, and the way he says like the character, it just sounds bad, but it's not.
Yeah, you're getting it's like that was very harsh, but all right. Like it's kind of like was it Bill Burr has that one bit where he talks about. Like, he's like, yo, this Chinese motherfucker. And they're like, whoa, that's racist. And then goes, man, this motherfucking Chinese. He's like, whoa, like, okay, it's fine. Like,
yeah. The difference in that. They just, for some reason, put a little stink in certain words, you know? Like,
it's like they're emphasizing, like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, I already know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. But anyways, the Bears. And,
Dude, listen, that's one of my favorite sketches. Is watching the SNL, the Ditka Bulls.
The Bears.
Which is funny because Ditka is from Pittsburgh. But everybody's like, wait, no, Ditka is for Chicago. I'm like, it's very similar. Do you notice how close they are? He just was so easy to adapt to Chicago, and he was like, I already got the base work. It's good.
I got the base. Yeah. Like, I noticed in Pittsburgh, it's kind of like everybody just seems so downtrodden, man. Everybody's got this, this... It's like their overall vibe is like beaten down leather. It's the best way to describe it.
Oh, that's why I think it's because we want to try to be underdogs, and it's like everybody's like a steel town. It's like a failed steel town. I don't want to say failed. I guess it's still a big city, but like, you know, it used to be all big steel and workers and stuff. So like everyone already has that whole what?
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? That I'm already tired.
Yeah, everybody's like got that kind of vibe to them, and like it's not like they're mean or anything. It's just they got this like fuck about life, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's certain people who are just stoned all the time too.
Yeah, no. I get that, but like I'm saying, even like the old people.
Oh yeah, they definitely just like it's been a rough life.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's.
Try driving over potholes every day. It gets to you.
Oh no, I'm from the city, dude. You're talking about potholes. Yeah, you should see. You ever make it out of Chicago?
I've never been to Chicago yet.
Yeah.
Everyone's been telling me like that's one place I need to check out because I've been to New York. I didn't get to explore New York, but I've been to New York. I've been to Austin. L.A. I think is a goal this year.
L.A. I went to L.A. just to visit. I got some shows in Santa Barbara in April. I don't know when this is coming out, but
this comes out next week.
Okay, cool. From what I was told from a lot of the LA comics is that over there it lost a lot of its charm because of like how much status you need to have to get on a show over there.
Oh, okay.
Like over there, it's like you need to like be somebody in order to get on like certain platforms. You know what I mean? Whereas like places like Chicago, Austin, New York, you can still be like, as long as you're funny, they'll put you on.
I think that's the thing with anywhere now. Like everybody's just like, oh, you got to go do this. You have to go do this. It's like a tradition thing. It's like, okay, but what made that a tradition? The people that came out of that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody would know what like the Improv or the Comedy Store was if you didn't have like Steve Martin, Robin Williams, Jay Leno, guys like that coming out of it. Yeah. That made it what it is. And now it's so much harder being a new person trying to break into that because, oh, well, you don't have the status that this place requires for you to play here since.
So the thing is that I've heard a lot of people had opportunities doing those places because like even in like Chicago, like you got places like I've done Second City a couple times, and then like your first time you do it, it's like wow, like.
Yeah,
Colbert came out of here. Steve Carell, it's like you feel like this, like you like.
It feels like you got to work harder. Like that's what it is. It feels like you have to work harder to get somewhere.
Yes, you do have to do that. But also, I think it's something where it's just as you do have to work harder, but you will get a chance, and it will pay off easier than if you did it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
That's why everyone says, like, the most advice I've got from older comics is, like, stay, like, in your town, get good, and then come out. He's like, that way you can kind of, like, oh, I already have a skill. Because he's like, you have people just like, oh, I'm just moving to California to do comedy. It's like, now you have a harder fight. Because you have no skills, you have to learn all this now. Where he's like, if you already come here with the skills and you kind of know what you're doing, it's going to be easier for you to navigate through things. That's what I've always heard from people.
I think it's something where if you can, I can see that. I could totally see that.
Yeah.
But I think if you put yourself in I'm a very like head in first kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So like once I started doing comedy, like I did maybe 2 weeks of like, am I going to do this? And then I just started doing like a dozen mics a week. Like it was just like, and you could do that in the city. You could do almost 20 mics a week.
Yeah, we're like, It's slim pickings here. Like, just because I don't know if it's not because we're not that big of a city too. Because it feels like we have a big scene, but also it's like everyone's also had their day jobs.
Yeah.
And like they're not trying to chase it full time, so it's like I can't make it to the mic tonight because I have other responsibilities, and I feel like it's some of that. It's some of that too.
There is that, and I feel like I'm very blessed to like have been raised, and like that was the scene that I picked to do, or that I started doing it in, just because like I remember when I asked to do the show out here, the lady who asked me to be on the show, Tiara, she's like, how much material do you have? And I was like, I have, like, I would say 20, 25 minutes. And she's like, a year and a half, and you have 20, 25 minutes. And I was like, you write a lot. And I was like, it's just, you're able to, like, decipher what's good and what's bad really quickly. Because, like, my rule for a joke is I give it, like, a week. I give it a week, and I'm like, if I did this, and it's eating dick every single time, then it's ass.
Yeah.
But it's like, if I do this and I see one little part's good, then we got legs and we can move on with it. And then you just keep on doing that until you sharpen it enough, and then it ends up on a show. But you can do that really quickly in the city, and you run through material much quicker to the point where you can churn out material a lot quicker.
I've been trying to like, I don't know. It's like I'm still trying to figure out like what angle to take on things, because it's like it's so hard to be super dirty, it's so easy to be super dirty and stuff, but it's like, okay, but your options are limited, it feels like. Like, you're only going to get like Kill Tony type shows, like edgy stuff like that, and it's like, okay, well, I kind of want to be able to play to anything. Like, I can walk into a room and I don't have the audience be like, I'm only here for him. And it's like, no, I don't want that. I want people to make everybody laugh.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I think you want to do a little bit of that. You also want to do a little bit of like, you can be dirty, but like do it just enough.
Dude, wild thought, right?
Like,
what if you had a lot of material about parents, and then you had to do comedy at an orphanage?
Be wild.
Be wild, because all those kids are like, can't relate. Fuck.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fuck, all I got is mommy daddy shit. My bad, guys.
Yeah. I've noticed like I'm usually like one of like 2 or 3 people, if not the only one in the room when I do mics on the north side of Chicago that is from the south side. The whole comedy scene in Chicago, like there's seldomly people from Chicago. They might be from the burbs, but they're not like from the city. So then I noticed that like, and I think cutting hair and barbering definitely like showed me how different like I am to the world, and like how the people around me, like I'll tell them something and I'll be like, oh yeah, we did this, and when I was growing up, and they'd be like, oh, I'd be like, what do you mean, oh? And it was just like realizing that it wasn't normal, and then I was like learning how to like spoon feed people so they could digest it. And then like and then I noticed like they found it amusing and intriguing. So that's why like I'll do jokes about being from the south side of Chicago, because you have certain like jokes about it, and then I don't realize that like some of it's dark. And then people like they pointed out to me like, you do a really good job at like making it funny and lighthearted, you know.
I had a buddy, he always told me he grew up on the south side. Like, he's like, hey man, you don't want to mess with me, because I grew up on the fucking south side. Now, what he's not telling you is he grew up on the south side of Cannonsburg. Like, that's a suburb of an outside town of Pittsburgh. And he kept telling me this, like, because that town was always called Guntown, like, so it was like supposed to be a troubley area. And then my brother chimed in out of nowhere, because he's like, man, you don't want to mess with me, man. I grew up on the south side of Cannonsburg. My brother goes, you grew up next to an elementary school. How rough was it? And I was like, I completely shattered the illusion, because I was like, oh, this guy might be tough. And then they explained it. I was like, oh, he's just talking shit.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious when you get people that are like, they'll try. I feel like the people that always tell you, oh, I'm from here, definitely like, they're usually like trying to prove something.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever tried to like make it seem like I'm like a tough guy.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just around a bunch of like people that have like they've only heard the stories of the South Side, and then they assume that I'm a lot more like active than I might be, and I'm like, nah, I was inside, you know, like I wasn't outside, you know.
Yeah, it's like no, I knew where to go. I'm good. Like
yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, I think that's where like anything is like trouble will find you if you go looking for trouble. But if you're just like I'm kind of minding my own business, keep your head on a swivel too. But
I remember going to visit my grandma, and she had these stairs in front of her house, and the bangers used to like sit on the stairs. So I remember, because I didn't want to get bothered, I would make a point to like tuck in my shirt. And no matter what I was wearing, I'd tuck in my shirt because I was like, I look dorky, and if they look at me, they're like, he ain't on bullshit. I would like slick my hair to just look as dorky as possible.
Yeah.
Just so make sure nobody was like even had the idea that I was gonna do anything.
You just walk in like the professor on The Simpsons, like, "Hello, Ivan. How's it going, fellas?
How's it going, guys?" Guys, I remember, even from an early age, like my mom would tell me, like as soon as like puberty started hitting, and I was like, my mom, if I was walking out the house with like certain colors, like she would comment on it, and so she'd be like, you know, don't wear that, things like that. It wasn't like so the area that we were in was when I was really little. That part wasn't great, and then we moved, and then that was a little better, and then we ended up moving to a trailer park, and then that was just filled with a bunch of like wannabes, and it was hilarious. Is they would try to like
trailer park gangs are kind of funny.
Yeah,
because it's like, first of all, guys, look where we're at. Like, we're nowhere special. You don't have to. Who are you trying to flex on? Like, we're all trying to pay lot rent.
Yeah. It was that. I remember the funniest story. I've been trying to work it into a bit, but like, so I remember. So my dad used to bang, right, and or my stepdad. And there was this guy that lived across the street from us, and he was an active banger. And so I remember it was my dad's birthday. My dad, when he gets drunk, and he got a hold of Snapchat, it was hilarious. He would immediately turn into like being 18 years old. And I remember he was the kind of guy where he'd like he would go up to me and like take a picture with me, and he'd like start throwing shit up, and I'm like, don't post me, dude.
Yeah, like, whoa, first of all, you're gonna be in trouble, dude.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
you have 10 kids, like sit down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, you don't even have multiple baby mamas to be having this shit, dude.
Oh shit, my bad. That's my timer for my camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have to go check the camera real quick.
Okay.
We'll be right back. So what did you say about your dad was the Snapchat? Like,
yeah. So it was that. So this particular birthday, he had this other guy in the trailer park who like he got his ass whipped or something from this guy, and he went bitching to my dad. Which is the other thing is it's hilarious. This guy was like in his late 30s, and I remember him going up. I was going to school, and I had Ubered, right? And he picks me up like a couple weeks prior to this, you know? And he's telling me, he's like, yeah, you know, I'm actually like a genius. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll give you 5 stars when I like when you try me out. Like,
yeah,
that's cool, dude. He's like, I just made a lot of dumb decisions. And I was like, that's very contradictive, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a genius, but, you know,
I've made stupid mistakes. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, sure.
You know, you could just say you were doing experiments, but you could just lie and tell me that. I'd believe that.
I believe that, yeah.
Just don't tell me like I made dumb decisions. Like,
yeah. But yeah, so this particular time, so this guy is like walking by, and he looks at my dad. My dad, for some reason, was on one, and he goes and he calls him over. He says, "Hey, come here." So the guy walks up to my dad, and I immediately was like, "There's something off. Something's gonna happen."
Yep.
I've seen my dad walk up to me and my brothers like this.
Yeah, that's when you're like, I know the slap's coming.
Yeah.
Like you're like, it's almost like being prepared for that Russian slap fight.
Yeah.
That come here. You're like, my face is already like twitching.
I remember.
I feel like the meat's already tenderizing and preparing itself.
I was like, this shit don't seem. I've seen
get
this
that.
before, you know. And so he calls him over. I remember my little sister was like on her bike, and I was like, go play over there.
Yeah.
And I told my sister, I was like, go take him.
Yeah.
You know. And sure enough, so my dad's like, how tall are you?
About it's like 5'11", like 6 foot ish.
Okay, so
Depends on the day.
my stepdad's 6'1". At the time, he was like 300 pounds. He's a big guy, you know. And this guy's probably like 5'8", 5'9" ish, maybe $160. Scrappy though, you know. And I guess his side is like, I'm gonna get one in before he does. So sure enough, he swings at my dad. They start going at it, and I was like, shit. So I let it be. I'm like, they're gonna kind of like when two cats fight. I'm like, they'll walk it off. It's fine. So
it is weird that men are kind of like cat fights. If you just let them go, they'll eventually walk off and go.
yeah, and then it'll be done.
Yeah, they'll be like pussy.
Yeah. You know, and
spray a pissing into your yard later.
yeah. And then dude's girlfriend comes and she's like trying to like break them up. Mind you, she's even smaller.
Yeah,
I'm
don't.
like, what are you doing?
That's how you catch a stray. Get out of the fight.
So, she was one of these like really trashy like white girls, like face tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
She's like a chick that you saw on Instagram, the one that used to try and be like, yeah, I'm black, I grew up. I'm like,
yeah, like you see her and you're like, your children aren't white.
yeah, I went to a high school with one like that.
Yeah.
And she was, they used to call her G Unit. Because we
G-Unit?
grew up in a country school.
Yeah.
So when someone's walking like that, it's like, yeah, obviously, like, we know what you listen to.
Yeah.
we know that you're really big into 50 Cent right now.
Yeah.
Like,
and I remember she does that, so I go up and I'm like, all right, now I gotta step in.
mm-hmm.
So I go, and we take them off. Then my dad disappears, and I'm like, I know this guy. He didn't just let this slide. And I'm like, he went to go grab the strap. So I'm like, he's not that stupid. So I run inside, and sure enough, he is.
He's already.
Yeah, he's like undoing the safe, and I'm like, it was like trying to corner a cat, just a large feline, you know what I mean?
Like,
I'm like, hey, it's not that deep, and he's like, it is that deep, Jason.
I never understood why people feel like it is that deep sometimes.
I just went and I'm like standing in his way, and then he like ragdolls me, and just kind of like move, and so. Then he puts the gun in his back, like right there by his crack.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad has no ass. He's got like the Hank Hill ass. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? It just looks like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I need to do more squats. It just reminds
like
me.
He has one of those asses where like you ever see those girls where like they like if he was a girl trying to
it's just straight
like,
back.
No, just like where like they have to make a real strong S when they're like taking a selfie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the kind of ass he has. And so he has the gun right there. And my aunt is standing there. And she has a bat in her hand. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I go and I snatch the gun out of his pocket. And it falls. And I'm like, oh, shit. And it doesn't go off. And I snatch it. And he's like, I don't got time for this. And then I hide the gun. He goes back out to talk shit. And then he's going to go after him. I like bear hug my dad. I don't know how my arms fit around him, but I just remember holding him and him being like, "Get off me, get off me!" And he wasn't gonna. He couldn't. I got some grip, dude. I'm like a fucking one of those like baby koalas, man. I'm clinging on, dude.
Yeah, you're like, I ain't moving. Like,
yeah, man.
You're staying right here.
Staying right here. I'm sure he kept on moving. I remember my mom looking at it and like almost being impressed that somebody my height and my size could like. Just hold, you know. I wasn't stopping him, but I was slowing the fuck him down. You know what I mean?
That's why I tried to like hold my dad, like I like go like this and do the bear hug. That dude cheats and like he'll hit you in the nuts, he'll kick you in the shin, like he'll just like whatever, and like it's super easy. Like he won't even fight. He'll just go, okay, guess you got me. Wing, and then be like, I
Yeah.
told you, dude, I don't fight fair.
Yeah.
I don't know what I knocked out there. It must have been a stick.
Just a shtick.
Yeah, for extra after work activities.
After work activities. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then I took that, and then I remember he called me because I went to go like tell my brothers to go home, and I'm like, go home, don't fucking open the doors. My dad pulls out this fucking like a wreath, you know,
Yeah.
and he like starts. I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, just stop, behave, man.
Yeah, just be cool.
Be cool. And then it finally chilled out. That guy ended up like dying a month later for other reasons.
Yeah.
We just kind of, nature took its course, you know what I mean?
Yeah, if you live that life, eventually it's going to catch up.
It's going to catch up, yeah.
Yeah, that's what. Like, I don't know. It's like being a gangster in the 30s seems way more fun. You know what I mean? Because you had Tommy guns, you get to dress cool and shit.
So,
Being a gangster now doesn't seem that much fun.
so the barber shop that I work at, like, it started in like the 40s.
Okay.
And so the original guy who owned it was a guy named Tony.
Of course.
Of course.
Chicago. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then it ended up being Alfredo's.
Again.
Also,
all right.
Again, yeah. So I never met Tony. Tony retired in like 2008 or some shit. And Alfredo took. So this is a sequence of events, at least in the history of it. So it was Tony. Tony had a lot of He had a gambling problem. He was a degenerate gambler.
Oof.
And he would make a lot of bets with the mob. So he gave a lot of free haircuts in his time. And he he was also a taxi driver. And he would deliver pizzas for his brother sometimes when he wasn't cutting hair. One time, there was a guy that he taxi drove to the barber shop, walked in, and started cutting his hair. All in the same time. The only thing
that's actually a pretty good deal. If you just sold that as a service, I'm buying that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll come pick you up, cut your hair, and then take you wherever you need to go.
Yeah. The only thing that would have sealed the deal if he like also delivered him pizza later.
Yeah,
that would have been like, are you following me, dude? So Alfredo, he's from Sicily, and he came to America when he was like 15.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he came to America, he got into barbering, and the syndicate was running a lot of the city around the time. So he was able to like run through the programs and get into the right positions. They got him in contact with Tony. They drafted Alfredo to go to Germany during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mm.
So he was over there. Before he went, they told Tony told him, he said, why don't you buy a piece of the shop so that way when you come back, you have a job. Alfredo said it's a good idea. So that's what he did. Within like 4 or 5 years of Alfredo coming back, it was his. Because Tony just couldn't do it. So Tony still worked there. Like I said, around this time, the mafia is still very prevalent in Chicago. And also, a lot of them would come into the shop to
Yeah,
get
it's
their
probably like
haircuts.
60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them came into the shop and they would, it was like an understood, like, neutral ground. Like, they made it to where, like, even if we have beef, nothing's happening here. And a lot of them told Alfredo, don't get involved with these guys.
Yeah.
And so he never did. He would hang out with them. They were his boys, but he never got involved in anything. But it was funny because, like, there were times where, like, when he was hanging out with these guys, and he would go to... He would end up at, like, poker games like he had no business being at, playing, like, really high stakes. You know? And that and golf. So his way of doing it with golf was he was really good at almost or at barely winning every game, just to make you think you had a chance. And he would do this a lot. Like, he'd win by like a couple holes, you know. And he'd do this and he'd play high stakes with these guys. It'd be like $1,000 for a game, and this was like 60s, you know. So he did this over and over again. And he got really good at this. There was one story they told me where like the FBI like wired the shop, And because you open up a lot to your barber.
Oh yeah, I've told my barber things. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't have told him this.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah. I tell people being a barber is like being a therapist, except I could tell you should kill yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Sometimes that's all it takes for people to like snap out of it. They'll come in and they'll be all like, "Man, this sucks. Life's terrible." And I'm like, "Yeah, you should kill yourself." And then they look at me and like.
They start laughing because it's like, you know what? I needed that. I needed a little laugh today, and
I needed a little laugh, and then also like, yeah, I guess it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And then they snap out of it, and they look better, and they walk out and like, hell yeah.
You know? Then you're like, I did a good deed today.
Yeah. The only thing more satisfying than like doing that is like when my client. I've had it a few times where like my clients will text me like 1 a.m, just be like, just got some ass because of the haircut. It's like I got pussy, bro.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so satisfying.
My one barber, he used to have like 72-hour guarantee.
Yeah, I'll do that to some people. I'll be like,
didn't happen.
Yeah.
Get a new barber.
Yeah.
Happens way more often. I was like, all right, this guy, pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sticking with this guy.
I'll give you what did I say? You got a 72-hour warranty. Anything wrong with it, you come in, I'll fix it up if you don't like it. But they had the barbershop wired. They told me one time that there was a guy that he gave a shave and a haircut to, and then like an hour later they found him in an alley, and they went to go question Alfredo, and they're like, hey, did you know this guy? He's like, yeah, I gave him a haircut. And he's like, why? And he's like, oh, we found his body and your card was in his pocket. And he's like, yeah, that's all I know,
Yeah, he was in here, didn't seem like a nice guy, and then I don't know what happened.
The other one was there was like an FBI, like one of the investigators, and he's getting his haircut, and he goes to Alfredo. He's like, hey, you shot a pretty good game on Saturday. And he's like, yeah, I did. And he's like, how do you know I shot a good game? He's like, oh, the guy you were playing with, we were watching him. And he was like, okay, I guess
just know that I watch you.
Yeah.
Just know that.
Yeah, just know that, yeah.
Dude, I like watching the mob movies like Donnie Brasco and stuff. The one that's like kind of close to Pittsburgh, like that ties into Pittsburgh a little bit, is Goodfellas. Because they tie into Youngstown.
Yeah.
And like Pittsburgh was kind of a big deal. I think it's the scene where they're running numbers. Like my brother worked with a guy that used to do that.
Yeah.
Like he got mad. They were talking about Goodfellas one time, and he just got up and left.
Yeah.
And he's like, what was his deal? And the guy's like, sorry, I got mad, dude. He's like, I was one of the guys that they were referring to in the movie.
So they did the same thing with Sopranos.
Mm-hmm.
They like tapped into like this conversation, and there's the mobsters, and they're like, they got this movie, right? they got this show, right? And it's these Italian mafiosos, Are they talking about us? It's hilarious, And but yeah, that was like shit like that. Then in the 70s, there was a guy named Phil.
Mm-hmm.
So Phil, in the 70s, because of the Beatles and just the hippie movement, people weren't getting their haircuts.
Mm.
So the barbershops were struggling, So around that time, that's when he got in contact with Phil, and they became partners. Phil was, from what my understanding, the worst barber they had ever seen. And he did this for like 40 years. And he was just an awful barber. I've heard he wasn't the greatest person either. Like he was they said he was also like a sheriff. But he would say he was a sheriff, but he was a night guard at the courthouse in Skokie in Chicago. Or Skokie is a burb in Chicago, or around Chicago. Skokie is a nice, well-to-do Jewish suburb. There ain't shit going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was like, oh yeah, I'm doing this and that. Also, he was like 5'4", 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
Just a puny little man. One other story I heard about Tony was so his wife, they live in the burbs. Him and his wife live in the burbs, and he got chlamydia from one of the hookers he fucked, right?
Oof.
And one of his clients was a doctor. So he knew his wife would eat cereal every morning. So he got penicillin from the doctor, would throw it in her cereal while she wasn't looking, and cured her before she even knew she had it.
Ooh, that's pretty. I wouldn't say it's skilled, but that's some pretty sneaky shit.
It
right
was
there.
very sneaky shit. Yeah, Tony was an interesting guy. The other thing they told me was one of the other guys was talking about. He's like, it's crazy how like hitting women was just like a normal thing, back in the day. And he's like, "Do you ever hit women?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I was pretty good at it." I was like, "What do you mean you were pretty good?" He's like, "Well, you gotta understand the kind of girls I was dating." I'm like, "Okay," and he's like, "Yeah, like." He's like, I'll give you an example. I was on this date with this girl, and she put a cigarette out on my neck, so I punched her in the face, and I was like,
You're like, I don't want to condone it, but I get it.
yeah, well, but
Yeah. That's why I heard I've heard stories like that, and it's like you hear guys like, I don't know. It's like there's sometimes where you're looking at a situation like. I'm glad I'm not me. I'm glad it's not me. Let's put it that way. Like you'll see like a man and a wife fighting or something, and like she's saying like the wildest things, or you hear a girlfriend abusing her boyfriend, and I'm like, I get why if you did, but I also can't like just tell you to do that.
Yeah. I've always been. I remember my mom told me if a girl ever puts her hands on you, you grab her.
Mm-hmm.
You push her away and you get as far as you possibly can. That's what I've never been confronted with this.
Depending on who you're dating, because there's certain ones it's like, touch me, and you're like, oh shit, run.
Yeah. No, I'm just like I'm gonna walk away or get as far away as you possibly can. I think I've been pretty good with diffusing. I'm really good at diffusing situations.
So, I had a experience happen. And I was at the casino, met these two girls. I'm talking to the one. We'll hear this guy that was outside happens to be talking to the other. We'll hear that guy's girlfriend rolls up and just starts beating the shit out of like the girl, thinking that she's trying to take her man. Meanwhile, it's his fault, but beats the shit out of the girl. So her friend tries to defend her, and then I'm standing there. I may have puffed a little bit beforehand. So I'm like trying to take a second, like, what should I get involved here, or should I stand away? I'm thinking I gotta be the responsible adult and try and break this thing up. I caught a stray from a chick, and you had to like hold back. You're like, I gotta remember that the same dudes I'm dealing with. You can't dude. You could just throw a hand, like fucking hit me. Yeah. Like I'm trying to stop this, and then, but her, you're just like, I was like, wait a minute, chill. Like you had to bite your tongue. Like, all right.
Yeah. I've always I got a pretty good nose for the telling what kind of girls are what kind of girls, so I've always been like, yeah, you're gonna be a problem. I'm not gonna talk to you.
Have you ever have someone that wants to be, not trying to get too personal here, but you ever have someone who try to be a little bit too rough, like being intimate?
I've had it where I've had this multiple times where you're being rough with them, and then you're done, and then you're like, was that rough enough for you? And then they'll be like, you could do more. And then you're like, okay. Because there's a gauge between, like, there's some girls where it's like borderline violence.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can do that. Just, I want to make sure. So
I want a signed affidavit that says you're not going to try and come after me after this happens. That's what I want.
For me, I think I'm pretty confident. I've danced the dance enough where like I got a hold of like what it is.
Yeah.
I do think it's funny when like you try doing it with a girl that doesn't like that. I remember there was this one girl who this is another one I'm trying to make a bit about, where like I remember like she was sucking me off, and then she got up, she said something, and then I like grabbed her head to like put it back, and 10 out of 10 times I've done this before, it was perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
This girl, she's like, don't ever fucking do that. I'll bite it. I swear. And I'm like, you don't like it rough? She's like, no, I'm a princess. But then proceeded to like lick my taint, and I was like, oh yeah, you're a princess for sure. Yeah, for sure. Okay, what were you saying though?
Yeah. Dude, my buddy called me today. He was telling me about he worked with this guy, and he was talking to this girl. Yeah, I'm gonna marry this girl. I'm so excited, and he's showing this girl around. He's so proud, like, I'm gonna get married. Here, this dirty motherfucker walks on to the job site. He sees the girl and goes, "Oh, dude, that's the girl I used to fuck in the ass all the time, man. She loves that shit. Like, I didn't ever have to clean up. I just show up and roll over." And then, like, the dude's just sick to his stomach. Sick. Like, because first of all, it takes balls to say that to another guy and not expect him to kill you for that. The bad part is the guy goes home to the girl and confronts her about it, and she's like, "I'm sorry, that was just a part of my past." And he's like, "You just done." They had to tap out. He's like, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
That's a wild thing. Like, oof.
Yeah, that's something you go to your boys and be like, "Bro, I fucked this girl in the ass."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact just telling a dude to his face, like, "Yeah, I used to fuck your girl in the ass." Like, that's like, oof.
Yeah, that's
If I was him, I would have just faded away on the spot. Like, I'd look like that meme where the guy just does the peace sign and just fades away.
Yeah.
Except it would look like the end of Avengers, man. You just see me just dust away.
Dust away, yeah.
That's when you're feeling good and someone hits you with that. You're like, ugh.
Yeah. I try to keep in mind that, like, okay, this girl's like, I'm not the only one, you know? And you try to remember that. And I think once you kind of like, especially like if you like fuck around,
yeah,
it's something where you kind of you're not happy about it, but it's something where I've learned to. I'll give you an example. One of my buddies had a thing with my ex, and
see, that's where I'm like, I can't.
So for me, it was something where like as long as she was, when I told her about it, I was like, "Hey, did you?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay." I'm like, just be more upfront about those things, you know? And then, like, she didn't argue. She was just like, my bad. And just like the accountability part, I was like, I can live with this.
Yeah, because there's some people, it's like, if they're just like, "Hey, yeah, like, that's not who I am." But it's like, yeah, but then, I don't know. Because it's like, after that fact, then it's like, now if it gets brought up, now I'm allowed to punch this dude.
I told him, I was like, if you don't make it weird, I'm not going to make it weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, obviously, I'm not going to tell you what I do with her, and you're not going to tell me what you did with her. And I'm like, and we're going to...
Yeah, I don't even want a fucking tip. If I'm playing bowling and shit, and you're like, "Hey, man, you want to use your fingers here?" I'm punching you. Like, I don't even want a fucking tip from you.
So the thing is like, me and him, we would always tell each other our stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then we always left this one out.
Yeah.
And then it was funny when, like,
imagine getting ready to tell a story and he's like halfway through and then realizes who it's about and goes, "Oh fuck." You're like, "Oh, you already know it." It's like, "Oh
yeah.
Shit."
Yeah, no, me and him, and it's one of those things where, like, you either become closer to this friend or like further apart. And I think with me and him, it definitely brought us closer. Because then, like, as soon as, like, when we broke up, like, we were still tight. We would still go on two-mans and shit,
Yeah.
And I'd be like, we'd go to a bar and I'd be like, "Which one do you want?" And then I'd go Rajon Rondo in that bitch and fucking, there you go.
Yep. Dude, it's been so hard for me to, like, it's hard. Dating's hard anymore, it feels like. Like, especially, like, for me, because, like, the spots I knew, I'm too old for now. Like, I used to go rolling to this place called Tequila Cowboy. Last time I walked in there, it's like, it's all college kids.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
33?
Yeah, so it's only, like, it's weird. It's a 10-year difference. But it's amazing how much difference 10 years makes when you're like, "Oh, I'm old now."
Yeah. I definitely, like, once I learned, because I didn't think that, like, I didn't have a lot of self-confidence when I first started dating.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was weird one day for somebody to be like, "Oh, you're cute." And then I was like,
I know. As soon as someone says that, you're like, stop.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
But then like you don't realize that like and then you kind of like I remember this old guy telling me you gotta walk like you got a big dick.
Mm.
And I remember I didn't get it at the time, and then I was like, okay, I got it. Like once I learned that, I was like, I'm just gonna. It's a fake it till you make it. With comedy, same way.
Yeah.
You fake it, you walk in like you've been doing this shit, and then it'll show if you have or if you haven't. But yeah, you learn really quickly how to make it work, and you just practice. And I got really good at like taking rejection in like earlier days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's just a matter of like trying and failing and trying and failing. And it's a numbers game. Eventually it'll hit, and then also understanding where you stand on the food chain.
Yeah.
At first, like for me, it was something where it was like, okay, I don't know how these girls perceive me, but I'm gonna try to go below what I think I am, and then if I succeed there, then it's like, okay, then I'll try with these.
Yeah.
And then once you've built up the confidence.
I know dating apps definitely tell me like exactly what I attract. Let's put it that way. My timer's getting ready to go off. I don't want it to scare the shit out of me again like it did last time. Yeah, now everybody knows I'm a giant pussy. Get scared by loud noises. Ah, shit. Yeah, we'll be right back. I'm going to check the camera, and then we'll talk more.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back.
So you said I could say the...
I mean, do you have the pass? We have to validate it first.
Which one?
The pass.
I think I got it.
Oh.
I haven't been checked on it.
Okay.
Nobody's asked. I just keep on doing
I always
it.
got to check my expiration date, make sure it's...
Yeah,
Mine
yeah.
gave up a while ago. I did
Well,
one cool thing.
You're a ginger, so I mean...
Yeah, but I'm dyslexic, so I don't get the full rights. I was going with that one.
But but Jews.
So it's funny the reason why I was bringing up the whole being rough, being intimate and stuff. I had this chick one time, dude. Like we're in, making out, everything's going good, and then she's like, just out of nowhere, just fucking punches me in the face.
Okay.
And I was like, what is that about? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, she's like, I'm very dominant. And I'm like, that's a little bit of a heads up.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you'd have caught me off guard, like, whoa, like,
yeah.
Just, like, chill. I had to hold back a lot. Like,
yeah.
Whoa.
It is funny when, like, they'll do something that you're not used to. Like, I remember the first time, like, I, like, got my, like, Gucci. She was going to, like, go to the Netherlands, you know what I mean? And I remember, like, it was going on, and I had already, like, it was a new experience for me, one. And then she was going to go lower, and it was just, like, I got overstimulated. And I was like, I gave her the Peanut Tillman, I was like, whoa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, whoa, like, chill. Like, first of all, my whole thing is about, like, I don't want any girl going down that way. Only because, like, first of all, I would want to go down there. I don't want to submit you to what's ever down there. Like, I'm pretty sure I clean, but at the same time, I'm a bigger dude. I'm walking around all day. There's more heat generated down there. Don't put your face in the microwave oven. That's all I'm saying.
For me, I was kind of weird about it for a little bit, and then I kind of thought about it, and I'm willing to do whatever you're willing to do for me.
Whew. I don't know, because, yeah, I'll save that part for the Patreon part, because I got some funny stories about that, but, like, I don't know, it's like that, it just doesn't seem fun for me. I just feel like it would freak me out.
First time it happened, I was so it was,
especially if she scares you and you fart and it might not be a fart because
it was this Colombian lady, and I remember like she's like topping me off, and all I did was this. I just moved my leg a little bit, and then she just kind of started doing it, and I just remember my legs turned into butterfly doors and just went up. You know what I'm saying? And I remember I was like, wow, this is really nice. And then anytime a girl has been down to do it, I'm very... If you're down for it, I'm down for you. You know what I mean?
That's fair, but it's like...
Especially, like, if I'm, like, worried about, like, all the smells and everything. As long as it's, like, you can tell it's, like, it's not neglect. If I can tell, like, you washed and this is just the way you smell. Because it's the same thing with me. It's, like, this is this is the Netherlands. You know what I'm saying? You can't fucking.
It's called.
It's gonna smell the way it smells. You know.
They call it the Badlands. That's
Badlands.
It's like the Predator Badlands.
Yeah. If you're down for it and you do it to me, I'll do whatever you're down for.
Oh man, yeah.
As long as there's no insertions on my end, I'm totally cool.
Yeah, because that's a whole that opens a whole nother can of worms right there.
Yeah.
Like there's dudes.
You can't walk in, but you can knock on a door. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that's you could scratch, you could paw at the door.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you ain't going through the doggy door.
Yeah,
ain't happening.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, once you do that, I'm a little like, I don't know.
Yeah, first again, that's one of those. I don't want to subject anybody to what's ever back there. Like, you know, I'm a big dude. I'm a little bit of. If I was gay, they would definitely call me a bear.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want you going back there. That's forced. You don't want that. You don't want to go venture into the.
Yeah, if you're down.
That and I make very bad eating choices. You know, I eat a lot of Taco Bell, Chipotle.
No, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm
And I like
there.
that corn chili salsa. So don't go back there.
Like I said, if you're down, I'm down. You about that life? I'm thug it out with you.
That's the bad part. Is the chicks love their Chipotle.
Yeah, they love Chipotle. They love Taco Bell.
Sorry, I got the carne asada, and you're like,
Yeah, no, I don't. It's like I said, as long as I could tell, this was like you didn't neglect it. There's one time there's this one girl who she says that
did she have long fingernails?
she didn't have long fingernails.
Ah,
But I remember I went and I was going down there, and it was just like really like it was like it was a jungle, dude. I had to pull one of these and shit. I was like, you know?
he had to basically just like do a comb over.
Yeah, comb over on that joint. I was like, yo, as a barber, I'm like, I'm gonna pull a fade on this bitch. You know what I mean?
Dude, I'll tell you what. My buddy told me this story. His dad was a coal miner.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he met this girl in a bar. He goes back to the hotel with her. He starts going down. But then when he's down there, his mouth starts like filling up with like cottage cheese. Yeah, I don't know what was going on down there, but he like turned the light on and was like, ugh. The guy goes, I can't eat cottage cheese now because it just, as soon as I see it, it makes me think of what that. And I'm like, I'm trying to think what the fuck that was. Yeah. I should have saved it for the Patreon, but fuck them. They're getting it. The podcast needs a little edge. Yeah, right? Yeah. You're like trying to imagine, like, go through your head what it could have been. The stunned silence is like, oh shit. Ooh, you have a story, don't you? That's why. The speechless in that voice is just like, it was me.
No, just more so like, there's so many like, my guy just went head first. You it's like you check the water first.
Exactly.
You
You can't just go down in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. That's why it's like, first of all,
I always fuck with the lights on.
and it's also like one of those, unless I know you for a while, I'm not going down there. Because it's like, I don't know what your routine is. Like, you're basically going face to face with a predator.
For me, like I said, as long as you're down for me, I'm down. If you do it to me, I'll do it for you. If I'm iffy about a girl, then yeah, I'm not gonna do it. But yeah, no.
You're like, you didn't test the waters first?
Yeah, you
nothing?
didn't.
Like,
Yeah, you always do a little, and then you look and
yeah,
a little taste test. You know what I'm saying?
Don't know what that dude was eating. I was like,
Yeah.
oh. I'm always scared about that too. It's like, you got, like, everybody talks about like, oh, you're be a dude and go get some one night stands, but like, what if happens if you go back and some weird shit's gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, you might walk in the door and next thing you know, like, she's like a dominatrix and you're not into that, but you're already strapped into a table. I'm committed to this now and I'm scared. No.
I'm still thinking about the cottage cheese.
You still got to think about that? Oh, man.
Yeah, dude.
Ruins cottage cheese for you, doesn't it?
I'm still eating it. Just like I'll think about it. You know what I'm saying? No.
To this day I've like wanted to like find out like what exactly happened with it, but at the same time you're like because like now that you know that's a possibility, now I got to make sure I can prevent this from happening to me, because if it happens to me, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah. As far as like the dominatrix shit, like I've had girls that wanted to be dominant, but I feel like, at least in my experience, most girls that like this, like for you to be super dominant. Like they almost, I think also it comes with being like, especially if I'm fucking a girl that's like not Latina. Like if it's a white girl or black girl, they're assuming things about me. So it's something where they anticipate me to be like more passionate, more like all that.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah,
it's something where like if you're,
I blame the soap operas on that part.
Yeah.
Those
like,
telenovelas and stuff.
Yeah, like they assume there's gonna be a guy, just some guy in the corner playing guitar.
Yeah.
While I'm fucking them, like
Did you ever watch the old SNL when they used to do Antonio Banderas?
I think so.
If you haven't, I have to show you it on YouTube, like after, because it was hilarious. There's like a part where he's like trying to be all sexy and whatever, and like every time the wind blows, like his shirt would just open up.
I feel like I've seen this one.
Like there was one where it was like he had I forget, like he had a secret baby or something, and like even the baby was standing there when the wind blew, baby's shirt blew up. But it was like a baby, like it was SNL baby doll, and it just went.
I think I've seen this one. Yeah. I've never been one to do like, I don't think I've ever done like same night.
Yeah.
I've always been one where I plant the seed, and then I'm gonna see you later a few more times. I don't think I've ever had it where. No, I'm lying. Once. I did it once.
Yeah?
Yeah. It was a very roller coaster of a day. It was, we went on a date. She ended up being an hour late for the date.
Oh.
And I remember I got my car towed prior to this. So I went to get my car, came back. She ended up being an hour late. I was like, all right, whatever. I had a show the night before. I had a show that night. And the barbershop I work at was down the street. So I was like, do you want to see the barbershop? She said, sure. And then we ended up just right there in the barbershop.
Right on.
Yeah.
Did you use the chair? Because that'd be the one part. It's like, wait a minute, man. I'm sitting down where she was, or
the sitting bench.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done it on the chair.
Okay.
That's a separate.
I feel like that's gonna be a hard one.
Nah, not too much.
At least you got the recliner part.
You got the recliner part, and then also, yeah. It's not as hard as you would think. I'm also not the biggest person either.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I have a lot. It's like I'm trying to like navigate like a tractor trailer going in.
Yeah.
Yeah, not what I'm working with. It's just the whole body. It's like I'm backing a trailer in. Like, hang on. Beep, beep. All right, we're good now.
We're good now.
Yeah.
We're Gucci, yeah.
Oh, man. So what have you thought about like, your time in Pittsburgh, like while you've been here? You had fun?
Yeah. Yeah, it was, so far it's been really cool. The whole trip was really awesome.
Cheap beer prices?
Cheap beer prices, was like, yeah. So the first, when we went to Ohio, I didn't want to drink beer, which is kind of rare for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I was getting fucked up on the Sun Cruisers.
Okay.
And they're like really easy to drink. And so I had like 9 or some shit. And we're feeling good, you know? And me and my buddy Milo, you met him yesterday,
yeah.
Milo Mac, shout out Milo. We went to, we're gonna go to McDonald's. You know, you gotta go to McDonald's after.
Yeah.
And as I'm turning, the cops pull me over. And I'm like, all right, cool. And they're like, hi, do you know why we pulled you? I was like, no. And they're like, well, you didn't use the turning signal. I was like, I'm sorry. And she's like, can I get a license and insurance? And I was like, okay. And then she's like, do you have any weapons? And I was like, yes, I have a gun right here.
Oh.
And she's like, okay. Then the other cop's on the other side, and he sees I had the zones, and he sees me like, who's zoning, you know? And I'm like, me. He's like, what flavor is it? I'm like, it's mint. And then Milo's like, but he prefers dick flavored.
You're like sitting there like, dude, this is not the time to joke.
And the cop starts dying, and then Milo's like, we should all hang out after this. And they start laughing, and the lady comes back, and she's like, what do you guys do? And I was like, I'm like, oh, we're comedians, you know? And then she's like, okay, well, we're going to let you out for the warning. And I was like, and then I pull into the drive-thru. Milo's going to me, and he's like, you understand? Do you understand
how lucky?
Yeah. Do you understand what we just got away with?
Yes.
Like, we reek of alcohol.
In Ohio, that's the even crazier part, because Ohio is like the state to not fuck with.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of like speeding, you do the speed limit every time, because Ohio will pull you over in a heartbeat. And it's like, because my brother-in-law was a cop in Columbus. He's like, dude, that was because it felt like I was in the military again. He's like, those motherfuckers put you through like SWAT training and shit. Like, wow. He goes, I'm just a cop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just a street cop. Like, chill.
And then, we ate our food, and I was just like, I have a very bad delayed reaction to like traumatic things. So like, I won't, or even if it's happy or if it's sad, no matter what it is, if it's big, I don't feel it until like sometimes it's like a week later.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like telling my ex, I was like, I wasn't really excited that you were my girlfriend until like a week after. It wasn't until I was like driving one day and I was like,
oh, I gotta go.
Shit, I gotta go. You know?
It's like a delayed trauma response. Like, wait a minute, like, oh fuck, that was bad. And then you're like, oh shit, this was great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what happens. Yeah. Like somebody could die in front of me and I'll be like, that's crazy. And then it won't be until like the next morning I was like, bro, you fucking died, man. Like,
yeah, death is always a weird one like that, because it's like you'll be like, someone will die, and sometimes it'll be like 2 months, and all of a sudden like, oh shit, like I forgot, like,
yeah,
because like usually it goes like, oh, if it's a couple weeks, you're like, oh, I just haven't talked to him in a while, and then like it's when you go to call somebody, you're like, oh shit, damn it, yeah. But yeah, man, it's been fun having you on. Like,
it's been fun being here, man.
Heck yeah. When you gotta make some more like round trips to Pittsburgh and shit.
Yeah, I met a lot of really nice people out here. A lot of people that were very willing to like put me on their shows. And
Chris, my buddy Chris, you met him.
Yeah.
He did comedy in Chicago for a couple years out there.
Yeah, we were kind of like seeing who he remembers from back home, and we were both talking about that, and he was telling me how much it's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just fun, like being like, do you know this guy? And he's like, yeah, I know that guy. I remember that guy. Chris was awesome. Chris was a really nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's helped me like so much, like with comedy, like teaching the ins and out and stuff. I say that dude is my mentor. And, like, I always trip up because I was like, he's my mentor. And then I was like, oh, yeah, there's this guy that inspired me to do comedy. 2 separate people, because one got busted for child porn, one didn't. Chris Scriva did not get busted with that.
Yeah.
All right? Don't imply that he did. No. The other one, John Reap, got busted with that. That was wild.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I was, like, it was one of those, like, we'd go see him in Ohio and shit and hang out. Wasn't expecting it. Next thing you know, like, bomb drops and you're like Like, oh, she was like, he wasn't weird with me. Like, I don't know what happened
You're
there.
not a child either.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
I did send him my baby pictures, like trying to like, hey man, like you think I can get ahead in comedy this way?
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
like, yeah, sure, and then never called me.
You could, you know.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's why you don't send baby pictures to your heroes.
Yeah.
They get busted for it.
That's wild.
All jokes here, folks. Anyway,
Oh,
but yeah, man,
jokes here, folks.
yeah, but anyway, dude, I appreciate you coming on and doing this. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at, and then afterwards we'll switch over to the Patreon, and then we can get wild.
Jason Issac Comedy on Instagram. I got a show. Well, I won't be. Yeah, you won't see it till then.
Yeah,
But I'm in Chicago. I got shows almost every weekend, and I usually put the tickets in the bio.
yeah. Do you run any shows in Chicago? Like
I do
weekly?
run. I run a barbershop show. It's a comedy show in a barbershop called Chopping It Up, and I run a co-producer show called Talk About It Tuesday with Javier Castillo. If Javi's ever in town, I'll tell him to hit you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Javi's like, he's the first guy to put me on a show, and in my opinion, he's like the funniest guy in conversation I've met in comedy.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll switch over to the Patreon. So come follow that. Do that because it's gonna get wild.